this is Hammer Striker here. Today we're going to talk to you about the Glock 43, Glock's latest entry into the super compact arena. This is their 9mm pocket pistol, very similar to the Glock 42. The gun is 6.26 inches from front to rear. It is clear, of course. It's 4.25 inches tall, and the slide is 1.02 inches thick. This has a lot of the similar characteristics you're used to on other Glocks and on the Glock 42. It has a reversible magazine catch. It has a variation of their RTF texture, but one thing I did notice on this is it's much more subdued than some of the other Glocks. It's a lot smoother, and it doesn't feel like it's quite as grippy as on, for example, the Glock 42 and some of the others. We actually got it to focus for you. It looks the same, but it's not quite as grippy. It does have a serrated trigger, which you can see right there, unlike the Glock 42, which has a smooth trigger. Right there, where you can see the serrations. And I know some people don't particularly like the serrated trigger. To me, I don't really find a difference between the two. It has a very similar slide profile to the other Glocks. So one thing I'll note on this is that the rear side serrations are very functional. It's very easy to get a hold of it. But they don't bite into your fingers, but it's very, very easy to get a hold of. Like all Glocks, it does have the split trigger as part of the safety mechanism. Right here. One of the things I did notice on this, we had this out at the range, put a couple hundred rounds through it. One thing I did notice about this is the trigger on this is very similar to any of the other Glocks. So let me demonstrate the trigger for you. There's a little bit of a take up. So from there to there should take up. Very crisp break. There's the reset. And that would be all the way out. So take up, break, reset, and break again. And like the other Glocks, you can feel the reset and you can hear the reset. It has standard Glock U-dot sights, which are very easy to acquire, very easy to get on target. It does not have the replaceable back straps, the same as a Glock 42. It does not have the replaceable back straps, and it's got a bit more pronounced beaver tail. When you get a hold of it, kind of get up in there a little bit more. It does have a bit of a recess under the trigger guard to let room to get your finger all the way up there. It comes with two magazines, one of which is in the gun at the moment is the flush mount magazine, and with that you get a 2-finger grip on it, a nice solid 2-finger grip. It does come with a pinky extender magazine, and with that you kind of get not quite a 3-finger grip. This pinky extender does fit flush, and it does follow the curvature. It was comfortable to use. I'm not a big fan of pinky extenders. I prefer the flush mounts, but it was comfortable to use and did work well. This gun is made in Austria, unlike the Glock 42. Let's see if I can get it turned so you can see it there. The roll mark. There you go. Glock 43, made in Austria. Very, very similar architecturally to the Glock 42, but it's not just a Glock 42 chambered in 9mm. It's a little bit bigger, as we mentioned the sizes. It does hold 6+1 in both magazines. The pinky extender magazine is just an extender. You can see, so it does not add capacity. I'm sure the aftermarket will take off and do the same thing that they do with all the others. You'll be able to get extended capacity magazines. It does not have a rail like the Glock 42, but Crimson Trace and most of the other companies, well, I'm sure will be out shortly, if not already, with various lasers to add either around the trigger guard or on the grip. Takedown process on this is the same as any other Glock. Show clear, remove the magazine, pull the trigger, pull back on the slide just a hair, and it comes apart. The internals, pretty much standard Glock. You've got rear rails here, front rails here, locking block, We've got the actuator for the safety, which is the striker block safety. And on the slide, we've got the striker block, which is the oblong style like in the Glock 42 as opposed to the round style found in most other Glocks. It does have a dual recoil spring, just like the Gen 4s and like the Glock 42. And a 3.39 inch barrel, which if you've seen any other Glock barrel, you've pretty much seen this barrel as far as the format and the structure of it. It does have the polygonal rifling just like all the Glocks. So just like the others, it would not be a good idea to shoot bare lead in this. It does have the loaded chamber indicator. The extractor will protrude a little bit. You can feel it stick out a little bit when it's loaded. To reassemble it, it's fairly straightforward. Drop the barrel back in, put the recoil spring in place, make sure it's centered. And you're back assembled and ready to go. When we had this at the range, it was very easy to control. It was a pleasure to shoot. It was easy to keep on target. And overall, it had a little bit more recoil than the 380, a little bit sharper recoil than the 380, but well within manageable territory. Very comfortable, and if you hadn't recently fired a 42, you probably wouldn't even notice the difference. But with the 9mm cartridge, you are going to have a little bit more recoil. It's a very light gun at 17.95 ounces unloaded. So of course you have a little bit less available to absorb that recoil, but easy to keep on target, easy to get clean follow-up shots. The only issue I've seen with this so far, it's a little quirk with the magazine. So if you insert the magazine goes in fairly easy and does drop free, typical of a Glock. But if you have upward tension on the magazine, so in this case, if I press up, which is not really something you would normally do, but it's the easiest way to demonstrate to you on camera what I'm doing. If you press up on the magazine, as you try to insert it, it will hang up on the magazine catch. And it may be difficult to show this on camera, but what you'll see is that it's hanging up. If I can get it to do it. Okay, get the flashlight and try to shine it in here. You'll see that it's hanging up on the side of the magazine, it's hanging up on the magazine release. And that's the only issue that I've seen so far with this. Now, normally when you put the magazine in, you'd have it in your hand and you'd slap it in with the base of your hand. Doing it that way, through all the different processes that you would normally do, could not get it to hang up a single time. But at one point it had a little tension on it and it hung up. That might be something where they need to bevel that a little bit more to try to mitigate that. To me, that's a relatively minor issue because most of the time when you're going to load a magazine, you're just going to slap it in like that and it'll go in. But as far as any ammo sensitivity, failure to feed, or any other kind of misbehavior, the thing just worked. So let me show you some of the characteristics of the similarities and differences between this and a Glock 42. So there's the Glock 42. Let me put the flush mount magazine in. We've got apples to apples. So if we put them side by side, line them up, you'll see that the Glock 42 is just a little bit shorter than the Glock 43, and I've got them lined up pretty good. Very similar trigger guard profiles. If you look at the grip height, it's about a 1/4 inch difference with the flush mount magazine. Obviously you put the pinky extender magazine in, it'll be taller. And when you look at the thickness of them, the Glock 42 is thinner, which is this one right here, but not massively so. It's just a hair. It's So overall, what you're going to get is 9mm power in a package very similar to the 380. That's very easy to keep on target, very easy to shoot well. Overall, it's an excellent choice for concealed carry. It competes with things like the PM9, the Walther PPS, which is a little bit larger, and it's more powerful than the 380, of course. So if you're interested in more information on, for example, cleaning it, we've got a video on cleaning this. We actually used this Glock 43 in a cleaning video. That'll be out. And hang on for a little bit more range footage after the video. But if you like our videos, please give us a thumbs up, share, subscribe, and have a great day.